It's been a while since I filmed anything, so let's see how this goes. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you guys who are new, my name is Natalie and I run a stationery shop called DoodlesnTea. So last year I filmed a video talking about what to ask your manufacturer when you are thinking of making washi tape. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watched that video. That video is probably one of my most viewed videos on my channel now. I got a lot of comments from you guys asking to show more of the designing process, because in that video I talk a lot more about just finding a manufacturer, just mainly everything to do with your manufacturer. I didn't really talk much about, I guess, the creative or design process of it. I mentioned it very briefly, so you guys had some questions about that. So I thought that for this studio vlog, it would probably be the best to take you guys along, because I'm thinking of making 2 new washi tapes anyways. It's probably just easier to show you guys what I'm doing and explaining along the way, instead of filming a sit-down video like that where I'm just using words. Sometimes it's just really hard to explain. So in this video, we will be designing washi tapes together. And if you guys are still in the stage where you are trying to find a manufacturer first to get some information about the dimensions and all of that for your washi tape, I would suggest you guys watch the other video first and then come back to this one. Because at this point, I already have my manufacturer, I already have all the dimensions that I will need for the design, which I will go through later. So this is just kind of the workflow that I'm at right now. But for those of you guys who are on the creative designing process now, then the studio vlog will be perfect for you. So I actually already have all of the designs for the 2 washi tapes already done in my sketchbook. So one of the things that I like to do first is import the design into Procreate and draw each individual character itself first, mainly because for 2 reasons. One, because in this case I'm thinking of making it into a sticker sheet as well. But the other thing is because it's probably easier to draw your design on a bigger canvas instead of drawing it on your really small canvas that is going to be your washi tape. It's better to have a bigger image and shrink it smaller than to have a smaller image and trying to enlarge it. So that is what I'm going to do right now, so let's get that done. So once you have your image imported into Procreate, all you have to do is trace over it, or if you don't have your design yet, just sketch it out in Procreate first. So let's do that. So now I have the basic colors done, and to be honest, I really don't find the need to make your coloring or shading all that detailed, because for the most part a washi tape is 15 millimeters in height, so it's not like you're gonna see a whole lot of detail when it's printed out anyways. Of course, the option is up to you. I've seen some very detailed, really well shaded washi tapes, but that also kind of isn't my style, so for the most part, just basic coloring is good enough. Also, another note for coloring is that when you ask your manufacturer the color profile that they want, most likely it's going to be in CYMK. So make sure the file that you are drawing on is in CYMK for their color profile, or else when you get it printed, the colors are going to look slightly different. So that's just something to keep in mind. So how you can check what the color profile is for your file is that when you go and select a new canvas, just click new canvas, and if you go under color profile, there's going to be a whole list of different profiles under CYMK and RGB. Honestly, you can just use the generic one. I think it's good enough, and I have no idea what these ones are. But yeah, this is how you can check which profile you're under, and then just hit create when you're done. Another thing I like to do is import the previous design when it's done into your new file that you're going to draw. And that's mainly because if you just hold and hover over any part of your design, you can copy the color that you used and this just makes everything a bit more cohesive. Hey guys. So it is now the next day. I spent the rest of yesterday just finishing up all of the drawings and designs that will be going on the washi tape, simply because it's just really repetitive and a time lapse of that whole process is just going to be really boring to watch. So I went ahead and did all of that. And this is when you would have needed to ask your manufacturer about the file size for your washi tape. Because at this point, we're going to be creating a new file in Procreate based off the dimension that your manufacturer gave you. So let's go over to Procreate and get that set up. Also, one more tip that I want to mention before we hop in is that it's going to help a lot if you already have your design sketched out very roughly, because it'll save you time from trying to move all your designs around to see which layout looks the best. So this is what I like to do for all of my washi tape designs. So based off the manufacturer that I will be going with, they told me that the file size should be 18 millimeters in height and 250 millimeters in width. And also don't forget to check the color profile so that it's still under CYMK. And with that, you can just hit create. So I finished organizing and drawing everything onto my washi tape design, and this has taken up around half of the file size. So there's two ways you could go about the next step. I like to use Photoshop for the next step, but I also understand that not everyone has access to Photoshop, so I wanted to show you guys a different way to do this. Basically, you're going to want to fill in the other half of the design, obviously. And what you can do is group all of your drawings together right here, and then you can duplicate it, which I've already done at the top here. And basically what you want to do is, I'll just turn mine on so that you guys can see, is that once you duplicate this whole design, you're going to want to shift it over so that your whole tape is now covered. If you do it in Procreate, it is free and it's all within this file, so this is an alternative solution. Personally, I like to do it in Photoshop just because it's a bit more precise with the measurements, and I like to use the ruler function in Photoshop just to make sure everything is aligned. So I'm gonna move us over to Photoshop and show you guys what it looks like there. Hey guys, so I thought it would just be easier to screen share Photoshop and explain some things to you guys as to why I personally like using Photoshop more than designing it in Procreate, just because I thought of a few more things as I was setting up this workflow. So the first thing you can see are these blue lines, and these are basically the rulers that I've set up. This one going here is the indicator for the midpoint of the design, and everything onwards from here is basically just a repeat of the pattern. Now these two lines are a bit more important. These are the lines that indicate everything past it on the top over here, and everything past it on the bottom here are not going to actually be in your design, and these are actually the bleed areas. So basically a bleed area, or simply just a bleed, is important because it extends your design a bit more, so it gives some buffer room for the machines to cut. And so basically anything outside in these areas are not going to show, and everything in the middle is what's going to be cut out. But manufacturers still want you to include all of these areas, simply just in case, again, for their machines to have some buffer space to cut out your design. So if we take a look here, we actually see that there are parts of my design that are actually being cut out. So what I like to do in Photoshop is just kind of rearrange everything or squish everything in a bit the important stuff that I want in the design to be squished in a bit. And we can see what is being extended. I don't really mind some of the stuff being cut out. Like I put them there knowing that parts of it would be cut out. So those are okay. But we're just gonna take some time to shift everything back in and make sure it's all within our design space. So once you're done reorganizing everything, the next thing that you're gonna wanna do is rename your layers. Now, you don't have to do this, but if you're making foiled washi tape, which this design is going to be foiled, it's gonna be really important because your manufacturer needs to know which parts of your design is going to be foiled. So as part of my design process, I like to make the foil yellow or gold or silver, depending on what color it's going to be in the end, so you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. So what you're going to do is select the layer and rename it. I like to just name it foiled or foil, and then we do that for the whole design. So I went ahead and regrouped everything as well. Once again, if you're just making normal non-foiled washi tape, you really don't have to do this. But for foiled washi tape, it's better to just show your manufacturer which parts you want foiled just to avoid any errors. So in the end, I grouped everything. I'm gonna have the yellow parts as gold foil. So I wrote gold foil just as another reminder for them. So if I close all of those, maybe I'll keep white, you can see all of the parts that will be foiled on the design. And if I open design, you'll see all the parts that are just going to be printed on the tape. So at this point of the design process, you're pretty much done, and all you have to do is send the file to your manufacturer. Another thing you should have asked your manufacturer already is what kind of file format they would like. Most of the time, they would prefer a Photoshop or Illustrator file. Don't worry if you're using Procreate, because you can export as a Photoshop file, which is PSD, even if you don't have Photoshop, so don't worry about that. Once you send it to your manufacturer, they're going to go through it and just make sure that your design is within the constraints of the file dimension to match with their systems. And they should be sending you a proof as well, just for you to double check once more before they start manufacturing it, so that everything looks good on your end as well. Another thing I did mention in the other washi tape video was to make these stickers. Now, this is what I meant by stickers, if it will focus. So I designed these stickers, and apparently some other people say that they just send it to you in a sheet and you have to stick it on yourself. For me, when I got it, it was already all stuck on, which is great. I basically did the exact same design process. I drew the little cord on Procreate, and then I believe I moved it into Illustrator to format out into what I wanted it to look as. But for the most part, you can do everything in Procreate again. Again, just double check with your manufacturer the size of the sticker as well as how big the bleed area is going to be, because that is important. I just think that with a sticker on the washi tape, it looks a bit more nicer. So that's what I did. And this washi tape is actually one that I made last year. And you can see kind of the gold foil, and it's all wrapped, I think is like a heat shrunk plastic wrap kind of thing. I'm not the manufacturer, I don't know what these things are called. But yeah, in the end, this is usually what it's going to show up as, which is great. So this is kind of my whole design process for washi tapes. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I got a lot of comments, and this was something that I wanted to kind of share with all of you anyways, because I do realize that I didn't really talk about that in the other video. If you have any more questions about designing washi tapes, feel free to leave it in the comments for me to see, and I will get to answering your questions whenever I can. I'm probably gonna make one more design, but because the whole process is pretty much the same, probably won't film that. And I might do a studio vlog of when I actually get these washi tapes, so it would be cool for you guys to see what it turns out as. If you guys found this video helpful, don't forget to give this a thumbs up, because that will help me out a lot. and to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I will be uploading more content like this in the future. And with that, I hope you guys are taking care of yourself and staying safe out there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!